Welcome back to the Making a Multi-Million-Dollar Medspa podcast, where we have real conversations about what it takes to run a successful business. Thank you for joining us as we share our day-to-day successes and, even more importantly, failures and mistakes. Listen in as we host some of our peers, colleagues, and other experts in the field. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. All right, you guys, welcome back to the Making a Multi-Million-Dollar Medspa podcast. I'm Kat Taranto, and I'm here with Matt.
Taranto, same last name.
That's right.
Strictly coincidence.
Very funny. All right. Okay, so we're really excited to do this podcast. I think no matter where you are in the nation, whether it's the Midwest or the East or the West Coast, there tends to be always a part of the year or a time of the year that you might experience a slowdown. And for us in the Midwest, it's typically the summer, but it might be maybe a new business that could also benefit from these tips. But today we're really going to focus on how aesthetic care is managing a little summer slowdown.
Yeah, we do have a business that's a little bit seasonal. And obviously summer, kids are out of school, sun exposure, people going to lakes, getting in the sun. So the laser business usually does slow down. And it's funny because, the nurse that our first employee 22 years ago, who's still with us, still to this day, every summer will come in my office and say, Matt, what's going on? Why has it gotten slower? And I'm like, Judy, you've been doing this for 22 years. This happens every time. So for us, July and August typically are our least busy months. And after Labor Day is when it kind of ramps up. Kids are back in school, vacations are over, kind of ramps up, and kind of what we call laser season kind of begins.
I love that. Okay, so right now, knowing that Judy just came in your office and we've been focusing on it as well, what did you tell Judy?
So, I'll kind of walk through what I tell all providers, whether our own, and if you hear some thunder and lightning, we're doing this podcast in a great Midwestern thunderstorm, which I love. I love these. I love the big thunder and the hard rain stuff.
It's going to be interesting audio for this.
No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It kind of gives a relaxed atmosphere, I think. So, I think that the majority of you watching this have a clinic, or you work at a clinic that has performance-based compensation, whether that's bonuses or commissions or whatever it is for the providers, and which I think is very smart, and we do too. And so what I tell people when I hire them is I say, listen, the first time somebody comes to aesthetic care, odds are it's through some sort of marketing, right? They got a referral from somebody, they saw an event we did, they heard us on the radio, something drove them to come that first time. But every other time they come, it's the provider, right? It's the way they were treated, it's the ability of a provider to practice what we call relationship development. And to a T, the best providers anywhere in the country are ones who create a bond with their clients. And we tell them all the time that your job really is very simple. If you look at it this way, it's every time somebody comes to see you, it's to treat them so well that you eliminate their desire to ever go anywhere else, okay? So that's kind of the beginning stages, is that I want them to look like they have a business within a business, right? The clinic is aesthetic care, but they don't come to aesthetic care because of me. They don't come because of you. They come because of our nurses or estheticians, nurse practitioners, and they develop that bond. And I always equate that bond to most women I know have a pretty strong bond with the person who cuts their hair. They find somebody who they really like, and man, do they get loyal. And think about it, we're sticking needles in their face, we're burning their skin with a laser. It's a little bit more invasive than a haircut.
Well, men
so
do
the
that
trust.
as well. You stick with your stylist as well.
Yeah, but women mainly bond. I also went to Great Clips for years before I married you. So, but anyway, so I want them to think that they have control, and it's really up to them about how busy or how not busy they are. And so then I want to share with them ways that they can get busy. And I go back to a story, you've heard me tell it a million times because I do it with all my consulting clients, of a esthetician that we had years ago, and it was before you and I were even married, who I had never seen anybody better at relationship development than her. So she was really great with her consult. She was really great with her treatments, right? But what she did after the fact to me was just shocking, how hard she worked to make sure that person understood how valuable their business was to her. So the first thing is she would never leave our clinic at the end of the day until everybody she saw that day got a summary email. So you came in and let's say I'm a provider and we did BBL on you or whatever, you would that evening get an email from her saying, hey, great to see you today. Here's what we did today. She would go into detail. Here's settings we used. Here's why I did that. Here's what I want you doing at home. And here's when I'm looking forward to seeing you next. Every time. She never missed this. So now the other thing she did, we do as a company, we send out an email on people's birth month and they get a 10% discount on a treatment that month. She would send her very own birthday card and she would give them a personal phone call on their birthday. Okay. If she hadn't seen you, let's say you came in, I'm a provider and saw me, and I hadn't heard you hadn't rebooked, and it had been 2 months, she had a little tickler system set up. She would send you a text, and it would just say, hey, Kathy, this is Matt at Aesthetic Care. I was thinking about you today. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know. Just a way to touch base and let them know that she was thinking about them. She did these things consistently. She only worked at Aesthetic Care for 7 months, and a guy from Boston asked her to marry him, and I will never forgive him because she was so good and I hated to lose her. But after 7 months, she was fully booked 3 weeks in advance to get into her. I had never seen somebody get that booked that fast. So in a summer slowdown, or if you have a time when your providers have some gaps in their schedule, I think it's important to sit down and say, okay, let's talk about the things we can do. How often are you staying in touch with your clients? How often do you send them a handwritten thank you note? How often do you send them an email? How often do you send them a text? Those type of things. But then even to go a step further, we were talking earlier in the summer, and we were talking about what could the company do, to help our providers not get slow at certain times of the year. So since July and August are our slowest times, we decided let's utilize a follow-up consultation. So another thing that we want our providers to do, especially when they have time, is to research the people that are coming to see them. Look at their history. What treatments have they done? What treatments have they not done? When was the last time they bought product? Things like that. So when they come in, they've got in their mind, wait, this person has never had Forever Young BBL. This person bought a cleanser from me 4 months ago, but hasn't bought one again, which means they're using a different cleanser, right? Know these things so you have that ammunition when they come in to talk to them. But one of the best ways, I think, for providers to develop this bond and to really entrench themselves with their clients is not just do a consultation the first time they come in. So the first time somebody comes to Aesthetic Care, we have an hour-long 9-step consult, photo imaging using the Visi. It's very detailed, and I think most people tell you it's a very fun experience. But that's just the first consult. We age, okay? So I'll just use, if I'm a provider and you're my client, I want you to be my client for years and years and years. Well, your skin is going to change, right? You're going to age. And the hard thing about what we do in aesthetics is so many of the things we do take a little time for the results to maximize. So it's hard to see in the mirror. But so does aging. And you look in the mirror like everybody does multiple times a day. So if you have just tiny, tiny little wrinkles under your eyes that you can barely see, in the first consultation we talked about them, but they're not a big deal to you. You're not worried about them, which is fine. Well, if I don't do another follow-up consult as you're aging, how are you going to see that change? And so I want our providers about every 12 to 18 months to get people in, hey, let's do a quick Visia. Let's set those photos side by side. Let's see what's going on, what's changes that happened in your skin, for good or for worse. Because if they see something changing, aging, that's a call to action. So what we did this year in July and August is we challenged all our providers to reach out to their clients and get them back in for a follow-up Visia, to look at their history. Wait, they haven't had a Visia for a year or for 2. We had a lady come in the other day, and it's shocking to me. I was talking to her at the front. She didn't even know we had a Visia. She had been coming to us for years. And I'm not going to throw that provider under the bus because this is a good client, but that really is not the best way to handle it. And so we challenged them, in July and August, let's get as many people in for a follow-up Visia. In return, they can have any one treatment. It has to be performed in July or August for 20% off, which is the biggest discount we ever give. 20% is the biggest discount we ever give. So just think they could do they could save $300, $400 on a halo. They could save, almost $100 on a Forever Young BBL. Those are big savings. And 20%, since it is the biggest discount we will ever give, it works. And I will tell you, it right now is, we're coming into about the 3rd week of July. It is working really well. Our schedules are filling up. And so, but not only getting them in to help get that July and August busy. But by doing that consult, preparing them for the next year. Hey, what should our goals be in the next year? What type of plan should we put together? So I think that is just a great tool and a great way to get people re-engaged.
I think so too. I mean, especially because it's not only maybe we haven't seen them to do a consult in a year or 2 or 5, but and their skin may have changed, but it's also we get new technology.
Yes.
So they may not have heard of Moxie or our microneedling Moxie combo or our Age Jet or all of those new items that we have, or treatments that we have on our menu of services. It gives us an opportunity to also talk about those because the technology just keeps getting better and better.
Exactly.
So I think, one thing to look at with someone like this example that you brought up with the client that came in that had never heard of the Vizia, and maybe she's heard of and maybe it was more so like she never got her photos taken, or did she just not know about the
She didn't know
technology
somehow, and listen, we're not perfect, obviously. Somehow she had never had an initial consultation.
Oh, okay.
Which is going to happen.
But think about how...
But then the provider should have said, hey, I know you haven't had the consult, but let's get you in. Because, listen, it's so much more impressive if you come into me for a consult, instead of me just looking at your skin and talking about it, if I've got your picture on a 60-inch flat screen TV and we're both looking at it and I'm blowing up, hey, let's talk about this under your eyes. This is Amelia, or this is a SK, or here you have sebaceous hyperplasia, or here's an area where you've lost some volume, and you're both looking at it. That is way more powerful.
Oh, I agree 100%. I was just getting to the point of it may have been one of those that calls in and says, hey, I want to book Botox, and my friend goes to Judy, and I just want to go to Judy. And I'm not saying it was Judy, but
no.
I'm just saying, sometimes
that was probably it. And they didn't have time for the consult. And of course we're going to do that, but the provider should at that point said, hey, I know, you came in, but when you come in next, let's do a skin analysis and see what's going on. The vast majority of people are going to appreciate that. Years ago, every Christmas we do something nice for our top 20 clients. So we look at who spent the most money in the last year, and the top 20 we do something really nice for. And one year, I gave all 20 a personal phone call. I told them I was going to put $500 on their account to be used for anything they wanted. But on the phone, I asked them, listen, is there anything we could be doing better for you? I love to learn. We always want to focus on improving our customer service.
For listening to the Making a Multi-Million-Dollar Medspa podcast. We are honored to have the opportunity to support your practice. If you like this podcast, we would love it if you left a review. Ratings and reviews allow more practices and industry professionals to find us. If this episode has inspired you, share it with a friend. Together, we can empower our community through continuous learning. We truly value your support of the podcast.
Hey listeners, it's Karen, the marketing director of Aesthetic Care Medspa here, and I wanted to share an incredible resource that has changed the marketing game for our virtual events here at Aesthetic Care. Our events partner will provide all of the items that you need to put on a professional, organized virtual event with ease. You provide the assets, pictures of your staff, or whatever treatment that you're trying to promote only takes 90 minutes or so, and they do everything else. Following the event, they'll even provide you with detailed data analytics so you can see exactly how many people attended, who stayed for the entire event, track who's interested in getting your treatment or special that you're promoting. You will even have automated follow-up texts. I'm telling you, it will make your virtual events easy, breezy, and they do all of the marketing. It's incredible. For more information or to see a case study or two from Aesthetic Care Medspa, check out the link in the notes below.
Listen, our top 20 had nothing but compliments, but the one thing I heard, and it was a criticism, said, I would really love more long-term planning.
Yeah.
Be able to plan out what I should be expecting. And that is where that consultation comes in. And so what we've seen this July and August is by giving our clients an incentive and making our staff understand that, hey, don't come complain to me about you having holes in your schedule if you're not doing these things. All of a sudden, it's gotten them, to kind of re-engage with some of these people, get them in. They get 20% off of treatment, but then doing that long-term planning. So it really has turned out to be a bonus on getting our schedule busy, but a bonus on getting those people booked for future appointments.
Definitely. I love it. I mean, for me too, I love a good plan.
Yes.
So.
She's a planner, and I fly by the wing of my seat on everything I do in life. But I think the key is, and this is, and I don't mean to sound blunt, and I mean, Kathy, we are never mean to our employees. We don't yell, we don't put them down, we're very supportive. But there's got to be some accountability, right? And, we're up to 19 providers now. They're not all equal, okay? They're not all as driven. They're not all as thorough, okay? But I think it's very important that the ones who aren't doing quite as good see the numbers of the ones who are killing it. And to show them, hey, this is your potential. And the thing that I tell them is, listen, you can come complain to me about anything, but we're going to solve the problem. And if you come and tell me, hey, I'm worried because I have more holes in my schedule than I normally do, the first thing I'm going to do is say, okay, so what are you doing about that? What actions are you taking? I mean, we as a business are going to try to be creative in some marketing, always some, big marketing to get people in the door. But what is each provider doing as an individual to market themselves? And as you know, when you come to work at Aesthetic Care, you get a job description for whatever job you're doing. The first line on that job description is, you are part of our marketing team. It is your responsibility to get this clinic busy and to keep it busy. And that's the front desk, our support staff, nurses, estheticians, managers, everybody. I want them all to feel that way.
Yeah, I love it. I think even today, I mean, we've talked about so many good ways to help, to give some ideas and tools to our team so they don't feel like they're out on an island.
Right.
Send the thank you cards, send the birthday cards. That's simple and easy to do. I mean, the follow-up email at the end of the day, that is impactful.
And listen, there were times that she'd have a gap in her schedule from 2 to 3 and she'd do it then.
Yeah, right.
And it's not like she had to stay till 9 o'clock every night. But she was so driven and so consistent. She taught me a lot. She taught me, if you want to get busy, you can be busy. The cream does rise to the top. The other thing to think about that we're doing so many of this summer is really encourage your clients to book, or your providers to book what we call our client parties. We're doing one almost every week now. And that is where, we allow a client to bring their friends and family in on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And it's usually from 6 to 8, maybe 5:30 to 7:30. We provide wine. We provide like a charcuterie board, some appetizers. We do a fun presentation. Each person who attends gets a $100 gift card, okay? And the person who hosts that party gets rewarded by how many people they bring. So if they bring 5 to 9 people, they get a $350 credit. If they bring 10 or more, they get a $700 credit. I mean, that's $700 is a lot. That's more than a Botox appointment. That's a cc of filler. That's 2 Forever Young BBLs. That's almost a Moxie. And all they have to do is bring some people in for a fun evening. And they get a $100 gift card. We have a fun door prize. So I know you're doing one Wednesday night. I did one last week. You did one the week before that. I mean, we're doing these almost every week. But normally they want their 10. You're getting 10, 11, 12 people for 2 hours to truly learn about who you are as a business, all your treatments, the conditions you treat. And literally every time, by the time they leave, there are people booking consultations by doing that. So that's another way during a slow period is really get involved. Get your clients to bring in people, as long as they're not current clients, friends, family. Have a fun night. Make it fun. But man, what a great way to add new people to your client list. Your
Definitely.
patient list.
I love it. All right. We're keeping this podcast short and sweet. For more information on the consultation process, check out our e-courses, mintecourses.com. So we have the perfect consult, all 9 steps of the consultation there. We have a course called Large and Small Events. And so you can check out all those small events, the girls' night out, all the details, the marketing cards that we use are all in there. If you want to learn about, anything that we've talked about today, it's all in the e-courses. Tools for your team, all the things that we give to our team to help them, fill that role as the marketing person, because so many of our team members have not been taught sales or outside sales, and we're really just selling through education. So we want to make sure that they have the tools that they need to feel successful. So, just a little shout out to Mint Aesthetics e-courses for all the details and how to, build your team, build your business through the slower times of the year. So did you have something else you wanted to say?
Well, I would say, just in summary, the best of the best are going to stay busy, right? And like our top providers, they don't, even in the slow time, they're very busy. let the ones who aren't learn from them and see that. But at the end of the day, they have to treat people so well. And I'll go back to that thing that I said earlier. Their job every day is to eliminate the person's desire to ever go anywhere else. But that takes effort. It takes a lot of kindness, a lot of thoroughness, a lot of preparation and follow-up. But your staff should be focused on relationship building.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks for checking us out today or staying with us as we get through this amazing podcast just about how to build your team. Let us know how we can help you. And if you want to see the video, check us out on YouTube. Otherwise, audio, we'll hear you. We'll see you, hear you, be with you next time. All right.
All right. See you later.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. We would love it if you left a review to help other providers and clinics find us. Also, if you want more information about anything we discussed in this episode, check out our show notes. Until next time, this has been the Making a Multi-Million-Dollar Medspa podcast.